Watching cartoons as a family a few years ago, my niece doubled over, crying in pain when a medical commercial came on, only to have the pain disappear as soon as the commercial was over. My sister and I spent the rest of the morning trying to figure out what was going on, and eventually realized her response was tied to a traumatic H1N1 flu shot experience she'd had a few months before. The nurse was in a hurry and held her down to give the needle while she was surrounded by other crying kids and massive lineups of strangers. I'd never worked in a clinic like that, but I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, do any of my patients have long-term effects like this? In medical day treatment, I would see some kids weekly or monthly and everything in between. The only constants were that every visit involved a painful procedure and none of the kids came to us for a one-time visit. We needed them to willingly come back. We often saw kids who had many medical procedures as part of their urgent diagnosis and could tell how this process had been by how terrified, angry, and suspicious they were. With the combined experience of our team, we had figured out that by shooting water through the IV, making the freezy cream into a science experiment, playing with the vein viewer, and even singing a few songs was often enough to help them leave the clinic feeling like a rock star. So, when we got a referral one day that said, might need sedation for IV start, I thought, oh yeah, bring it on. The next morning, a polite, very terrified, and malnourished 13-year-old boy showed up with his mother. His eyes were wide with fear. He was sweaty and shaking. I had never seen a child so fearful, on the edge of panic. Right away, I told him there was not going to be any sneak attack with the needle, but he still jumped when I put the blood pressure cuff on. As the numbing cream worked its magic, a child life specialist talked with him about distraction techniques. He chose rapid-fire questions and a countdown to the poke. When it was time to start the IV and I touched his hand, it would reflectively pull back. I gently asked if he would like to have someone help keep his hand still, and he said yes. He instinctively went and sat on his mother's lap, and I started asking him the rapid-fire questions. Name 3 ice cream flavors, 2 types of pizza, places you've skied, best friend, favorite animal. 3, 2, 1. Over the next 8 months, I asked him hundreds of rapid questions, and he started asking them back to me. It was a game to see if we could stump each other. At the last few infusions, we didn't need to use the freezing cream, and his mother didn't come with him. I hadn't thought about him for a few years, but after my niece's struggles, I began to wonder, what happened to him? Did the confidence that he developed in our clinic translate to the rest of his life? As nurses, it's hard to know if we're doing the right thing when you don't get to see what happens. But at my son's wrestling tournament a few weeks ago, a big, healthy-looking teenager came over and gave me a hug.